One second. Come on, Instagram, you son of a bitch. You're taking forever. All right. Well, there we go. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back again to Snug Wrestling Podcast. Special guest today, BT couldn't join us today, but we have Ryan from the No So Podcast who's going to be helping us with this review. So I know it says BT Night under there, but just ignore that. We'll probably edit that out some other time. Monday Night Raw, the Raw after the crazy Elimination Chamber just went down, and like the Elimination Chamber, the ending of this Monday Night Raw was crazy. So was the beginning, but we're going to get started with the main event. We're going to start off with the bang because Io Sky did the unthinkable. We thought for sure Rhea Ripley was going to win this. We thought for sure Rhea Ripley is going to go to WrestleMania, but that is not the case. At least so far, Rhea Ripley is not going to WrestleMania. Io Sky is. So we're going to get started there, and then we'll talk about the rest of the show as we go on. Mr. Blood, I promise that I will let you go first tonight for this one. And then, Brian, I know you got a little bit of time with us, so we're going to go Mr. Blood, and then we're going to let Ryan take a second in this. So tell us, Mr. Blood, tell us how you really feel.
I'm pissed off. I'm so mad. Look. All the respect in the world to EO. We for those of you who don't know, we actually have a whole chat for our panel here that we talk every single night during the shows. And I said that they were having a phenomenal match. I thought EO did incredible. It's EO fucking Sky. How could she not be incredible? My problem is that the bigger match at Mania is Rhea Bianca. I don't I get that maybe this was a swerve for swerve's sake because they probably thought, well, everybody online and everybody believes that Rhea is going to win. It's a foregone conclusion. It's predictable, yada yada. So let's just swerve them for the sake of swerving them. Probably to turn this into a triple threat, I'm assuming. Mainly because why else would you have two baby faces in Rhea and Bianca go head to head with that? My biggest problem with this match specifically is the way that the outcome happened because I thought it was just fucking stupid. Bianca and Rhea get into an argument and the match breaks down. Io's in the ring, she's relaxing. Bianca and Rhea start getting into a screaming match with each other. And Rhea pushes Bianca, which she can do. She's a competitor in the match. What I thought was the dumbest way to get to the fucking finish was having Bianca push Rhea back in front of the ref. Bianca charged Rhea as she was getting into the ring and physically put her hands on her. And by the way, a push is considered assault, therefore it makes it a DQ. And the ref did not throw out the fucking match. It was a fucking disqualification. It was a fucking disqualification. And instead of disqualifying Io Sky for Bianca's interjection onto Rhea, the ref decides to get out of the fucking ring and get into a screaming match with them and separate them, allowing Rhea to get rolled in. Then she takes too long on the top rope, placating and trying to, chastise Rhea. And then she gets reversed into the greatest moonsault, or the over the moonsault. What pissed me off is that Rhea should still be the fucking champion. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they booked it for Bianca to put her hands on the champion, but the moment Bianca put her hands on Rhea, it was a disqualification. It would have been a disqualification in any other match. And the ref straight up just shouted, "We're not doing this. It's a title main event." Yada, yada. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what's a title main event. If Rhea loses this, it's because you're a fucking bad officiator and this is booked incorrectly. Mm-hmm. Bianca didn't just tap Rhea. She full-blown ran up to her and shoved her full force into the fucking apron. And the ref saw it clear as day, stood there and watched them go back and forth at each other because Rhea retaliates. And Bianca then shoves her another 2 times. That is a fucking disqualification. Rhea should be the champion.
Hold up.
Nothing against
Hold
Io
that thought.
Sky.
Hold that thought, Mr. Blood, because I want Ryan to get his thoughts in before he leaves.
Mm.
This is that could be that's a good point. I thought for sure that at least Bianca was going to get thrown out of the match after putting her hands on Rhea Ripley. Maybe that
Three
can come.
times.
Maybe that can come into play moving forward before Mania as a way to get Rhea Ripley making this a three-way. But I thought for sure at least Bianca was going to get ejected, but that didn't happen either.
Mm.
Ryan, earlier you mentioned that you were pissed off about the show. Was is this because of the main event, or what were your thoughts on the main event?
I don't know. I don't know if wrestling really gets me pissed off, but let me. I share the same echo. I want to echo the same sentiment with Mr. Blood here. Yeah, it just feels that we're kind of wasted a dream match, right? First time ever WrestleMania or at main event, not WrestleMania at a main roster. We have Belair versus Rhea, and now we're gonna have to sacrifice that for a three-way with Io. Now, all respect to Io, fantastic wrestler, probably the best wrestler out of the three, but from a star power standpoint and a presentation standpoint, Belair and Rhea deserve that main stage alone, in my opinion. I feel that we're kind of forcing Io Sky in there, very similar to perhaps forcing Seth Rollins down our throat on the male side of things at that upper echelon level. But overall, it was a good match, not the greatest match in the world. I agree with Blood. The finish there was wonky, played into the, you know, match perhaps leading into a three-way. That's the out. But then again, that's a flimsy way of getting there as well. It makes why use Rhea Ripley, who just won the belt back a month ago or 2 months ago at the Netflix debut, has one title defense and then loses it because she has never had a confrontation really in the longest time with Belair on TV. And now that she's distracted because Belair is cheering on Io Sky, it's flimsy, it's lazy, and it's just they should be better than that in my opinion.
So do you think this is leading to a three-way, or do you think we'll get like maybe Rhea Ripley's going to get involved in that whole storyline with Jade Cargill and Naomi?
Yeah, that seems backwards. I feel that this is leading to a three-way. Perhaps Pierce says the referee's discretion. Rhea, you get your rematch at WrestleMania because Jessica Carr should have disqualified Belair for putting her hands on you, like Blood said, or she has to earn her way in by, I don't know, whatever. I feel like it's going to head to a three-way. It's just flimsy and loose. They should be better than this.
So you were Team Rhea all the way. You thought for sure Rhea was going to win this.
I just want the belt. I just felt that Belair and Rhea should be presented at WrestleMania 101.
Right on. Um, Mr. Blood, for unpredictability, let's go back to Mr. Blood. Let him I'm gonna let you finish your thoughts and then we'll go Tommy and Toxic. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on the main event. For unpredictability, for excitement to like kind of keep the viewer like more interested, you still don't think this was the right call, Mr. Blood?
No, because it feels like they hot potatoed it onto EO for the sake of swerving the audience, just because they knew that everybody expected Rhea to win anyway, and they just wanted to swerve us for swerve's sake. In my opinion, this is one of the very rare L's in Triple H's booking. Um, Look, you want to swerve us for swerve's sake? Don't do it in a main event for Monday Night Raw that is quite literally, um, you know, balancing the potentiality of an actual world championship match at Mania. That's not the kind of booking I want to see with the women's division because I mentioned this several weeks ago where I said we always get insanely good banger level women's title matches at Mania. We have for the last 5, 6 years. We have been blessed with the best women's wrestling at Mania the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And of my favorite, Rhea Charlotte was insane for me. That was the greatest women's match I've ever seen in my life. But what pisses me off is that I also said we always get the greatest women's wrestling at Mania with the
Mm-hmm.
worst builds. They always have the worst builds, every single one of them. They're always terrible builds, except for, I guess you can make an argument of Bailey and Io, but that was literally, they got lucky and they almost fumbled that 2 or 3 times as well. This is repeating that same pattern We know no matter which one of them is in that match, in April, whether it's a one-on-one or a triple threat in any combination, it's going to be an insanely well-worked match. The problem is the build getting there. I mean, I want to be invested the entire way, not just on the night.
Okay.
So I think this was an L.
All right, Tommy, let's go with you.
Fuck that ref. No. Screw him. Usually she's good. I will say that. Usually she's a good ref. But in this case, no. It absolutely should have ended right then and there with a disqualification. But it didn't. And the bigger sell, as Blood said, is the EST versus the Eradicator. Rhea and Bianca. But at this point, it's not going to end up being a triple threat because there's no possible way they're leaving Rhea out of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to end up being a triple threat in a spot where it really shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the fact that that's what this is leading up to. Because all he did was just do this just so he could trick us. That's it. It was a swerve for swerve's sake.
Interesting. All right. Toxic, let's go with you. And then I have one last crazy thing I want to add to this before we move on to the next segment. But go ahead, Toxic.
Okay. No disrespect to the referee Jessica English, please. The referee Jessica Carr, but I agree with everyone else. It should have ended disqualification as soon as Bianca pushed Rhea. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a title match or not. Bianca pushed Rhea. That counts as Bianca attacking Rhea, so that leads into a disqualification. In any other match, that would have been the case.
Mm-hmm.
Here, no.
So
Io, oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna finish this and then throw it to you. It would have been cool to see Io be added in later on due to the fact that Bianca costed her the title technically, but she just shouldn't have won the title.
Y'all are mad. No, listen. Where are you done, Toxic? Or do you want?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so this is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound like a total reach because it is. But Jessica Carr, everyone seems to be blaming the referee, Jessica Carr. I also saw a report a while ago that WWE trademarked a name for her, like a wrestling name, I believe. I don't remember all the details. But what if she gets involved in a bigger role, the referee, Jessica Carr, in this thing that's happening with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair? Is that crazy? Go ahead, Mr. Blood.
What was it?
Mr. Blood could probably give more info on that. I think he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that report actually came out, I think, on Thursday or Friday. I think it was PW Insider or Sean Ross Sapp that broke that report because I heard it while I was on Wrestle Talk. And so essentially, for those who don't know, Jessica Carr actually used to be a professional wrestler. Before she got to WWE, she was a wrestler, and she's still already redone her bump training. Most refs in WWE have to go back through bump training in case they're ever involved in angles regarding it. But they did do a trademark for her last Thursday or Friday. I don't know what the name was, but that report is accurate. I've never seen really Sean Ross Sapp or PW Insider ever really be wrong about those things, and it was an inside source that they got it from. So yeah, I mean, if they get her involved somewhere down the line, because here's the thing about what that report is and what you just said. The only reason I can think they decided to make this angle the way that they did it to end it Look how much Jessica got involved. She got all the way out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
She got in between them. She screamed at them. She shoved them both back. She put her hands on both of them at the same time. And she did more than most refs do. She got physical with them and in their faces. So I'm assuming that at some point, Jessica's either going to get back in the ring or she's going to get involved in this storyline on a physical level where maybe they call BS on her or officiating. Maybe Rhea next week calls her out and goes, this is your fault, Jessica. You need to make this right, reverse the decision, yada yada yada, and it goes from there. But I don't think they would do all that and have her physically put her hands on them and get all the way out of the ring to do it, by the way. Instead of just ejecting Bianca, she decided to go the extra step
Yeah.
and put her hands on Bianca.
Yeah.
So
She
that will remain to be seen.
Jessica Carr really inserted herself in that situation, but that was the main event, you guys. We're gonna move on.
May I jump in real quick, Snug?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Let me just add a little bit to that. I think she's going to work Evolve, as I think the report says she's going to work Evolve under a mask, which is starting Wednesday as well. So who knows if how true that is? But I could see her definitely getting physical with Rhea Ripley. Perhaps Rhea Ripley like taking all her anger out on her, and maybe that will lead to something. But does that make sense? Because we have a freshly christened baby face within the last year, Rhea Ripley. Are we going to give her some edge in her attacking a referee and blaming a referee? That's quite a bit heelish. So we have Belair that could maybe be tweening a little bit to the dark side. Io is a pure baby face now. It's just weird dichotomy between the three of them, if that's the direction. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well. I'm open to go on a roller coaster, but just sacrificing Belair for in Rhea at WrestleMania on that stage in the one-on-one capacity just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't feel like it's right. I'm always open for whatever, but just accepting that finish just ain't right. And sitting with you guys, listening to what you guys have to say, it just ain't making it better.
No, none of this makes any sense. We're just like trying to fucking pick at anything just to see if we can make sense of any of this because it really doesn't. But you're absolutely right. We don't fucking know what's really happening. Everything that they do means something though. We know that much. So we're like very, try to catch on little things like that. But no, you're absolutely right, Ryan. Ryan, since you are the guest, and I know your time is limited, I'm gonna let you choose the next segment on the show. What's that, Tommy?
All right. Well, if we came in with a whimper,
hold on, Ryan.
Well, it was a good match, it was a good segment. We're just overall down on it. Something I wasn't down on, and I hope you guys don't make me jump to the start here and start extremely hot. But that opening segment was incredible.
Okay. Give me a second, Ryan.
You want to talk about ending with a whimper? Man, they started with a fire for sure. CM Punk, man, all that visceral, all that anger just bottled into that 10-minute promo. He buried The Rock. He buried Seth. He buried Cena. All great stuff, man. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Okay. Can you hear me, Ryan? You can hear me? Okay. Tommy, did you want to say something real quick before we move on?
Yeah. Could we also bring up how pissed Rhea herself was at the end of that?
No, let's move on. We're done talking about that. Go ahead. Yeah, so let's go to the beginning because even though we started off with the main event, Monday Night Raw also started off hot because CM Punk pulled up and he was pissed. A pissed off CM Punk, as we all know, on camera and off camera, shit is about to go down. Something is about to happen. And I thought for sure CM Punk was going to come out and call out Seth Rollins. But no, CM Punk's like, I'm here to call everybody out. Give me names. And I don't know if this was planned. It felt like it wasn't. It felt natural. CM Punk was just like, all right. Oh, The Rock, John Cena. And he just cuts like the stiffest promo on both of these guys right here. It was exciting. I was kind of wondering, like, what the hell why is CM Punk calling out The Rock and Seth Rollins? The Rock and John Cena. But I guess CM Punk was upset of how John Cena beat him at the Elimination Chamber, so that makes sense. Then of course we saw the big pull apart, and the only thing that I had to say, when was the last time that we saw this is awesome chance and holy shit chance on a pull apart involving fake security guards? These people want to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. We're gonna get that eventually. Um, but Ryan, you spoke a little bit, but I want to hear your thoughts first, and then we'll move on to someone else.
Yeah, we're getting it next week in the steel cage match, Madison Square Garden. I wonder if that's going to be the quote unquote blow off for now, right? That's definitely throws a monkey wrench into potential WrestleMania plans that we first saw. But I'm definitely looking forward to see what happens there. Good stuff too. But yeah, for those people that call Punk washed and a has been, no chance. That performance in Elimination Chamber, and then that mic work to start the show, and just like him, that attitude, that tone, that presence with him walking out of that SUV to the ring, shit was on, and he delivered in a big way. The floor is set for a hell of a ride to WrestleMania with him, and then he probably set the table for a few more matches down the line too. He's going to be one of John Cena's big opponents, perhaps maybe his last one. Who knows for 2025? So yeah, I'm gonna hang up and listen, guys. I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of it tomorrow. Keep up the good work in the toxic, or not the Snug universe, guys. I listen all the time. Keep it up. Thank you, Snug.
Thanks,
Later, guys.
Ryan. Have a good night. All right. Tommy, I'm gonna let you get us started with the opening segment with CM Punk, and we'll go toxic. And Mr. Blood, you can take us home with this one.
All right. So, one of the biggest things that also comes to mind with this, besides the fact that everything that Ryan just said, is Drew McIntyre's tweet directly after.
Mm-hmm.
He posts out replying to a tweet from The Rock from 2011 and just goes, 14 years out and he's still relevant. Shut the fuck up, Punk, or something like that. I'll see you down the line. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be good. This is leading up to something good. But yeah, he brought up the match for next week at Madison Square Garden. That's not going to be at the end of it. If I know anything about these two, it's not going to be the end of it. It's just not. These two want each other like unalived. That is how much these two hate each other. There's no possible way that it's just going to end in a regular steel cage match.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to happen.
I hope not. For sure. All right, toxic.
Oh boy. What a fucking way to kick off Raw.
Shout out to Soto
This
619. Go ahead.
I absolutely enjoyed every single second of it. Rollins and Punk hate each other so damn much that they had like 5 to 10 security guards around both of them. Plus Adam Pearce and every I don't know who they are, but people in suits. Everyone's just trying to pull them apart. Pat McAfee scattered somewhere. Michael Cole scattered somewhere. This segment was insane. Not to mention, this isn't the end. They brawled backstage too, and then they finally stopped. So I really enjoyed this. An amazing way to kick off Raw after an extreme pay-per-view as the Elimination Chamber. And Snug, I do want to correct you something. The reason why Punk brought up Cena and Rock is because Pat McAfee and Michael Cole was saying The Rock, John Cena, Seth Rollins. So yeah, that's why he was calling out Rock and Cena.
Mm-hmm. Right on. All right, Mr. Blood.
First off, like you, Snug, I am a Punk stan. I mean, that man could do absolutely anything. I feel like I am as much of a Punk stan as MAGA supporters champion Trump. Like I'm that deep in behind Punk. And so anything he does, anything at all, I mean, he could take a piss and I'll cheer for him. Like it's an unhealthy fandom, but as far as it is concerned, um, if you're going to start off after something like Elimination Chamber, the way the match ended specifically, I mean, let's not forget that John Cena screamed in his ear, sorry, while he was choking the life out of him in an STF. Okay. And Seth is screaming, uh, you know, I'm not going to repeat it here because I think when we did it, said it on the review, it's knocked out the TikTok feed. But screaming profanities and not very well wishes to him while he was in that submission. Um, so for Punk to come out and just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm Al Capone. I got my Tommy gun out. And you know what? Line them up and let's just start popping off on the mic at random. Somebody give me a name.
Mhm.
Because what I think happened was Triple H said, you know what? I want that old pipe bomb Punk out there. Uh, all you need to do is just go out there and start selling people on feuds. And he went out there and he just straight up went, give me a name. And McAfee's like, The Rock, Cena, McIntyre, he's just saying to everybody. And he goes, you said The Rock, okay, The Rock. And he just, in classic Punk fashion, off the cuff, no time to waste, and just started going in on everybody. And
Mhm.
I loved it. He was, and what I thought was great, what stood out to me is how hurt he seemed about John's selling of his soul to The Rock. He genuinely seemed hurt by it because he is a friend of John Cena's. He is a friend of The Rock's.
Mhm.
And he has made that clear even in kayfabe that are friends. They have made up with each other. They are friends. The problem is his one friend just beat him in a way that was so unlike him, so dishonorable to whom Punk knows him as.
Mhm.
Because I said this on the Elimination Chamber review on wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, check it out. It's out Snug Wrestling for the Chamber review from Sunday. But the last time they had, or the second to last time they had a one-on-one at the Money in the Bank, years ago, when Laurinaitis and McMahon tried to interfere in the match to screw over Punk and create another screw job. John Cena refused to go along. But John Cena got out of the ring to clothesline John Laurinaitis and get in Vince's face and scream at him and say, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win this way. And for the callback to that in the chamber match, where Punk is literally getting screwed over by an already eliminated Seth Rollins. And this time, Cena decided he wanted to win that way. So the rage inside of Punk on this promo makes so much sense canonically to his history with Cena and the way that that match ended. And for the brawl that ensued, I thought this is perfect sense because he's angry that Cena dishonored their friendship by winning that way, but he's furious at Punk for allowing that door to have ever even been opened. Because here's the thing: if Rollins doesn't screw Punk, Cena probably doesn't beat Punk. There's no turn on Cody publicly, no selling of the soul. Punk gets his main event, Cena gets Dick, and Seth Rollins has to eat his dessert. And we got a brawl for brawls, man. These guys went everywhere. And then they went backstage. And it got this is awesome chance. It got holy shit chance. And I'm telling you, at this point, I actually forgot that Roman Reigns is probably involved in this feud. Um, so I'm wondering, with a month and a half out, at what point is Reigns going to be interjected back? Because we did find out they did release the report this morning. Wrestle Talk posted the review or the report that Cena will not be back until they do, I guess that's the European tour on March 17th. So we've got to go 2 weeks without hearing from Cena. So in the meantime, that story grows, but we've got to get Reigns back in this with Rollins and Punk because this is going to be a triple threat match. There's nowhere else for Reigns to go at Mania.
Yeah. And Seth Rollins, after the big brawl, when he spoke to Adam Pearce, like outside in the parking lot somewhere during Monday Night Raw, he said something that really stood out to me. Seth Rollins said, "Give me Punk, give me the match so I can make sure he doesn't make it to WrestleMania, the same way that I took out Roman Reigns." And I'm like, we have that hasn't been established yet. Roman Reigns not being at WrestleMania or Roman Reigns being taken out so before WrestleMania so he doesn't make it. Seth Rollins is misinformed there.
Well, I gotta say, because I'm gonna finish my thought so I can pass it. I think because I was gonna mention that I think that steel cage match next week is when Reigns gets reinserted. I don't think either of those men walk out of that steel cage next week as the victor. I think when it looks like it's all about to be over, and it's going to be a great steel cage match because I guarantee it's the main event. We're going to hear oh, and Reigns is going to come out and he is going to wreck shop on two very exhausted dudes. And it's going to start their triple threat build next week.
Well, yeah,
That
that
brought
would,
up them being friends outside. Nothing proves that more than right after Rollins was eliminated. Those two look at each other right before they go at it and just go, "I missed you. I missed you too." Right before they go at it. Right? It was right before that hug before they fully went at it.
yeah. But yeah, that is very likely to happen if we see Roman Reigns come back. That would be the perfect place to do it in Madison Square Garden, steel cage match, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Let's fucking see it. But we got a whole week to wait before we see that match. It's definitely going to be a main event match. It's definitely going to be great. It's definitely going to be amazing, and I can't wait. We're all over the place today. We started off the show with the main event. If you're now just joining us, we talked about the Rhea Ripley thing. So let's get back on track here. Well, kind of a little bit. They're in Buffalo, New York. And when the show first started, it started with the CM Punk thing, but I thought it was funny to point out that they played a video package of the Elimination Chamber and they showed all the stars. Nav was one of them, who's a pretty famous rapper, as well as some actors from Netflix, some ex NFL players, all these famous people. Travis Scott, they showed him, but no Drake. Drake was not part of that video package, which I thought was funny. So I had to mention that. Besides the matches and the segments that we saw, I want to follow up with the announcements or the updates that we got after the Elimination Chamber. The first one that I want to talk about is Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair had a interview during Monday Night Raw where, of course, she was asked about what happened at the Elimination Chamber. Now, this is what I noticed. Bianca Belair, she is completely over how devastated she was after Jade Cargill attacked Naomi. I get that it could be because she won the Elimination Chamber and she's happy now, but after seeing the video of her crying her little crocodile tears out and making this big scene about her friend getting attacked and her not being able to do nothing about it, one would think, hey, I'm still pretty upset about this. Like, I know I won the chamber, but it's hard for me to celebrate something like that after my two friends are beating the fuck out of each other, or one of my friends got beat up. But tonight, it was a completely different Bianca Belair tonight. She was happy. Of course, she gave her most political answer. Out of respect for the both of them, I don't want to talk about it that much. And she stayed positive. And what is happening here? I know we talked about it a little bit, but how did you guys feel about Bianca Belair's reaction or what she said tonight after everything went down? Let's go with you first, Toxic, and then we'll go on to the next person.
um, I think it's completely reasonable. She doesn't want to say anything, like she doesn't want to confirm anything from the two until she talks to both of them. But I think we're gonna hear from Jade first. Like we're gonna see Bianca and Jade first talk because it was announced that Jade Cargill is returning on SmackDown. So, um, yeah, and I don't think we're seeing Naomi for a while. Like halfway through, like I would say 20 something days until WrestleMania.
All right, Mr. Blood.
Like I said before, yesterday at the Elimination Chamber review, um, when Jade came out and she attacked Naomi, and Bianca was losing her shit, Jade would know who attacked her because obviously Jade would have had to have fought that person off and lost. It's not like you're going to be able to throw someone Jade's size, strength, and stature off of a platform into a car windshield without her at least being able to look up and see who did it, or at least feeling someone trying to run her off of a ledge. Because it's not like she would have been walking the line. You would have had to have fought her, beaten her up, and thrown her off. She would have known by then who it was. And let's not forget that at the same time that Jade's attacked, Bianca is in the middle of a Queen of the Ring qualifying match. So, or a Queen of the Ring tournament match. She wasn't, because I could have swore that she lost that match because she looked at the monitor.
It
So,
was a qualifying match for the United States Championship,
the United States?
Women's United States.
Okay. So thank you for correcting me. So she's in the middle of a title match. It's not like she had the time to go back there with Naomi's help, beat the tar out of Jade, throw her off, and then make it all the way up to Gorilla, all the way down the ramp, 3/4 of a way through a match before someone would have found Jade in the car parking garage, especially since we have camera footage of Liv and Raquel being in that same parking garage at the exact same time that that's happened to her. But we know it's not Liv and we know it's not Raquel because it's too obvious. Why would you? Here's the thing that I didn't get to say. Liv is such a look at me, look at me. She loves getting attention for doing horrible things. Don't you think if they and Raquel had attacked Jade, don't you think Liv would have actually taken credit for it? Because she would have.
Yeah.
So my thing is also Liv wouldn't be afraid of Jade. She's got Raquel right there watching her back. So that tells me if Naomi had to have been the one who did it, she's the only one who benefited from it. I said it the night it happened. Naomi benefited because she automatically the next week gets to be the stand-in tag team partner for the soon-to-be vacated titles. So it had to be Naomi because why else? Jade, if Jade thought it was Bianca, Jade would have attacked Bianca's pod. She would have been throwing Naomi into Bianca's pod. She would have eyed Bianca. She would have tried to kick the door in to get to Bianca. She didn't.
So you don't
So
think
that tells me Bianca had nothing to do with it.
so you don't think it's a little suspicious how Bianca was acting tonight?
I think that the reason she brushed it off like that and said, it's a little bittersweet because I'm happy that I won, but I'm sad that my friends are fighting, kind of thing. Because it's also just the promo way of going, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, tune into SmackDown for the viewership.
Yeah.
If you want to know what happened, tune in. That kind of thing. And she just said it that way.
Right.
But I don't think it makes sense. Nothing story-wise so far that we know, clue-wise, not only places Bianca where the scene of the crime happened, but it doesn't make sense for her either. Because why would she take out her own tag partner to risk her own tag title vacation?
Shout out to Dre Leah Zoe says Bianca did it. All right.
Well,
Tommy, same.
if Bianca did it, Jade sure as shit just decided to ignore it when she could have been face to face with her in the chamber.
All right, Tommy, same question goes for you. Did you find Bianca Belair's answers and behavior tonight a little suspicious?
No, because she's still running on adrenaline. Usually, adrenaline from something like that would run through for a couple of days, at least. So, that odds are she's running through adrenaline with that. And I see what those two are doing. They're doing the Cody Rhodes shit. God damn it, boys. But I'm honestly with blood on this. If Liv actually attacked her, don't you think, like, just like with everything else, she wouldn't be able to fucking shut up about it? Because even after she won the title and claimed herself as the greatest women's champion of all time, that's literally all she said. She never shut up about that. So if Liv actually attacked her, she would have said something by now. Besides the "so what if I did" from the kickoff show for the chamber.
Yeah. I'm looking on my phone because for some reason my comments are showing up on the stream. So, quick shout out to Garbasically Speaking says Bianca is totally guilty. That's actually a quote from her. Bianca actually said she felt guilty in that interview, so I thought it's important to
She
point
probably
out.
felt guilty, though, because two of the people that she's closest with are currently beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is more getting pummeled than the other, but the point there still stands. The two people that she's closest with right now are fighting. So she would feel guilty over that.
I gotta say this. The fact that you can kind of say Bianca Belair, besides the referee, you can also say Bianca Belair is the reason Bianca Belair caused Rhea Ripley the title, which to me is also mighty heelish, mighty sus. Okay.
There's one thing with Naomi, though, that I've seen somebody notice. Naomi at the chamber had a bandana hanging from her thigh. When was the last time we saw Naomi with any sort of bandana?
Who cares about that? What does that mean?
It's when she was healed, so she had to have done it.
All right, Blood. Let's finish this segment so we can move on.
Okay, I don't know if Toxic spoke, but hold on a sec. Or Toxic, you went. Okay, so I got to disagree with you on something there. Bianca did not cost Rhea the title tonight.
Distracted her.
Rhea, she wasn't distracted anymore. Rhea got all the way up in that ring, beat up Io, got her all the way up for an avalanche riptide, then stopped to look at Bianca and shout at her, "I'll see you at WrestleMania."
Exactly.
That gave Io, but that's Bianca didn't distract her. Rhea distracted herself because Bianca wasn't screaming at her anymore. Rhea took the time to stop doing her move to pay attention back to Bianca, and then that's how she got reversed.
Okay, but we just talked
she
about
cost herself.
We just talked about how Bianca Belair put her hands on Rhea Ripley. Not
yes,
once, not
it should have been. It should have
times.
Yes, it should have been a DQ at that point. But from there, when they separated, Bianca went back to minding her own business. Rhea was back in the ring doing her own business, and then her own ego got the better of her because she wanted the last word.
I know,
and Io capitalized.
I know y'all love Bianca, but
no, I love Rhea. Are you kidding me? I love Rhea.
Bianca is looking mighty sus here. All right, But let's move on. That was the Bianca update after what happened at the Elimination Chamber. The other update that I want to talk about, just really quick, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Michael Cole said that he spoke to Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is going to address the situation on Friday Night SmackDown. In quick 30 seconds, what do you guys think Cody Rhodes is going to say? Tommy, you first this time. What do you think we'll hear from Cody on Friday?
Well, for one, that is not the update I thought you were going to talk about.
Okay, well, that's what we're talking about right now.
But we'll see. Odds are he's still in fighting shape. He's dealt with this before. Literally last year with The Rock, before that Bloodline Rules match. He's dealt with all of this before and still was able to fight through it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. Quick shout out to Maria. Oh, it's getting heated, y'all. It ain't heated. This isn't heat because I'm always right. I like it. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding. No, it's all love. We like to have fun here. And plus, if me and Blood argue gives us numbers, then it's all good. And don't do the fireworks stuff. But all right, Toxic. We're gonna hear from Cody Rhodes on Friday, according to Michael Cole. What do you think we're gonna hear?
I honestly don't know. I'm confused. I don't know if he's gonna say, "Hey, see, John Cena, you're a stupid bitch." I don't know if he's gonna say, "What happened? What happened at Elimination Chamber was completely my fault because I said, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself."
Mm-hmm.
Or if he's gonna say, "Rock, you're a whiny, stupid bitch. Travis Scott, you shouldn't have been there. Take your sage somewhere else and go back to Hollywood or wherever the fuck you are."
Houston. He's from Houston.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Blood. What do you think Cody Rhodes is gonna cry about on Friday?
As far as the report's concerned by Michael Cole, again, same thing as Bianca. It's a, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you want to know, tune in this Friday, even though it would have been probably a much hotter angle had we had Cody come out as soon as possible. Talk about what would have been a loaded Raw had we had what happened Punk's segment, and then we also got a Cody segment later. Would have been pretty freaking dope. But as far as concerned, I think he's going to come out. He's going to talk about the betrayal he feels. He's going to talk about the betrayal he feels by The Rock, but he's probably mainly going to talk about the betrayal he feels from Cena. He's probably going to give us some kind of diatribe about, back in the old days before he left, how Cena, was kind to him backstage and they had a rapport, took him under his wing, coach him. We're probably going to get some story about that. And then he's going to talk about how, probably Cena, you're the face. You betrayed everything you ever stood for, hustle, loyalty, respect. Were those just words to you? It'll probably be something along that line in a promo wise, because Cena is not coming back to the 17th of March. They already decided that. So it's not like he's going to get interrupted by Cena or The Rock. So that I'm not sure who would come out at that point, but it will remain to be seen. We'll have to tune in.
Shout out to BT Knight. He's on the comments. He couldn't be with us tonight. He's being a responsible adult in society. Shout outs to BT. He says, I don't know why the ref didn't call it the disqualification. I'm sure he's referring to the main event. And whatever Cody Rhodes has to say, it ain't going to be better than what Punk said tonight. Yeah, Punk had a great promo. The other update that I want to address before we talk about anything else is the Sami Zayn update after his match at Elimination Chamber versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn is out indubitably. Or what was the word that he said? Indefinitely. Sami Zayn is going to be out. Oh, man. I mean, Sami Zayn took a beating, but he didn't take that package pile driver. Is there a possibility you guys think we could still see Sami Zayn come back for WrestleMania? Mr. Blood, let's go with you first.
First off, this is classic wrestling. You got to sell the finish, and I think it's a good thing they're going to keep him on TV for a little bit. Because even though he get hit with the package pile driver, he still got his face and throat rammed into two turnbuckles with a steel chair wrapped around his neck. He still got put through a double stack table, brain bustered through another table, got beaten with a hockey stick, got beaten to death with chairs, and then got apron power bombed, I think, 3 times. So, and then pop up power bombed in the ring as well. Not even a stunner. I think that he's done with the stunner. I think that was for face Kevin Owens. But literally, if you're not selling the effects of all of that, that's just bad storytelling. So I think that him selling this for several weeks, hell, I'll be fine if he sells it up until Mania night, like when Kevin and Randy are in the ring together, and maybe Kevin's going to do something horrible or about to, and then all of a sudden you hear the whoa, and then I think he comes back to a massive Mania pop. But I think keep him off TV until then. Sell it to really make the devastation stick home with the viewer. That's my thought.
All right. No Kevin Owens update though, because Kevin Owens was also in that match, but we didn't hear anything about him. I guess no one really cares about Kevin Owens. So yeah, those were the updates that I wanted to cover before we talk about any of the matches here really quickly. Let's go on to let's talk about Jey Uso, because I kind of seen this coming from a mile away, because we've seen this, I feel like, the past couple weeks where Gunther is, getting heat on Otis and Akira Tozawa, and Jey Uso comes out for the save. We saw this again during the match with Gunther versus Otis. Gunther kind of struggled with Otis, but he still got the win, obviously, because it's fucking Gunther. But Otis still did his thing. Otis still got his shit in. Otis still did the worm on Gunther. Yes, Otis did the worm on the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther of all people. I think we have
BT.
So, we saw Gunther. BT, you came in just at the right time. We're talking about Jey Uso now.
Oh, perfect. Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yeah, you're
all good? All right, good.
So, after the match, Gunther continues the beatdown on Otis. Jey Uso comes out to the for the save. Now, my question: it's good. It was good to see Jey Uso. Jey Uso picked up the title belt after Gunther dropped it. Jey Uso looked good with the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm not gonna lie, but are we gonna do anything else with this? Is it just every week up until WrestleMania? Is it just gonna be Gunther beating up on Otis and then Jey Uso coming out for the save? Mr. Blood, I see you. I went first with you last time, but we're gonna start with BT Knight this time, and then we'll go with you, Mr. Blood.
Don't worry, Mr. Blood. I'll be very quick. So first off, Jey Uso does look really good with the world title. I'm glad you could see that. Second off, I don't know about what we're going to be doing every single week going forward, but I do know that we're basically going to lean into more of the crash out Jay that we were used to watching back in the pandemic. Like, not to the exact same heights as it, but there's still layers of it there, and that's what we need more, because that's exactly the hints of it that we were getting when Jay was cutting his promo or answering what's her name? Caitlyn, whatever her name is.
Jenner?
When he was answering her question, and he says, like, they're downing me. And he even said there's hints of himself doubting himself as well. So,
yeah.
So I think they're going to dive into more of that stuff, but we need to see more of that Crash Out Jay stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, if we get that stuff, that's all I give a shit about. But for what they're doing going forward, I don't know the specifics, but that's what I really want to see. So those are my thoughts.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And we saw more of that later on. Jey Uso did an interview when he was walking out of the arena, a really passionate promo. So yeah, I think you're right, BT. All right, Mr. Blood.
The problem with this feud, I think, is pretty simple. WrestleMania is too far away. WrestleMania is either normally the very end of March, and back in the day, it used to be in the first weekend of March, but it is literally April 19th and 20th this year. Last year, it was the first weekend, and the problem is, you had Jay win the Rumble way back in January now. Okay, we're in March. Then you've got fucking the problem being that, okay, well, you have to go 3 months almost to Mania and make this feud last. And I don't think the problem with the feud is Jay. I think the problem with the feud is Gunther. Gunther, no offense to him, he is an incredible in-ring talent. He is not entertaining enough to sustain a feud that is taking this long. The thing is, when Gunther went up against Sammy, Sammy carried that feud. When Gunther went up against Sheamus, Sheamus carried that feud. It's literally it's literally the problem is Gunther is always a champion. He's never not a champion. And if he isn't a champion, he just doesn't have the gold for 2 fucking months until he wins gold. The problem is you took somebody like Gunther who is so good in ring, so legitimate, pardon me, has an insane presence about him, but in every single feud Gunther is in, it's his opponent that is always carrying the feud because they're more interesting than he is. They're more charismatic than he is. They have a much bigger crowd connection than he does. Jay is the most over guy in the company right now, and he's in a feud with a guy who is a world champion, but doesn't have really any crowd fare, doesn't have any, isolating thing that the crowd, when he comes out, they do a thing with him or they have a chant for him or anything like that. He's the ring general, and but it's like they don't do anything. When he comes out, no one's doing this. No one's going, dun, dun. Like there's no connection that he has with the audience other than I'm the evil foreign heel.
Okay.
And Jay is doing as much as he can. And the problem is he's only getting what Gunther is capable of giving him back. If anybody else was the world heavyweight champion, if Seth was the world champion, there would be actual character for Jay to bounce off of in his promos, in these segments.
Oh boy.
All Gunther can do is come out and try to speak his way through his accent into his promos, do filler shit with Alpha Academy, or sneak attack Jay. Are we supposed to really do that for the next month and a half? Because that's all Gunther has. That's all that's in his bag in between feuds and promos. That's all he's ever done in every feud he's ever been in is attack from behind, shit talking the mic, they do a brawl, and then they go to the PLE. The problem is this PLE is so far away that it's going to get real old real quick.
All right. So here's the other side of things. So you mentioned that, you said that Gunther, did you say he was kind of boring, right? His promos are boring.
I don't think Gunther's boring. I think he has a problem getting through his promos. He's not good on the mic. He's not. And anybody who says Gunther is lying to themselves.
Okay, neither is Jay, but here's the thing.
Jay is a lot better.
Here's the thing. Gunther is at least cutting promos. I mean, you're right. There's something missing with this feud. because it's such a far away. That's why I was making the question: is this all we're gonna see? Because it's mostly Gunther coming out, Gunther doing all the talking. Jay Uso comes out and he just chases Gunther off. When is Jay Uso could have promo backstage? Yeah, that's cool, but like Gunther is cutting the promos in the ring. He's he's healing in the ring.
But
Jay
Gunther
Uso.
is saying words. Jay is doing character work. There's a
Okay,
difference.
Jay Uso needs to say words to build up this feud in order to make this feud more interesting. It's not going to get interesting if Jay Uso is doing his character work while Gunther is trying to heat up the feud.
Gunther isn't trying to heat up the feud. He's too busy attacking everybody else but Jay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all the like everything that
He
Gunther's
two
doing
weeks of
is just
Alpha, 2 weeks of Alpha Academy now. 2 weeks of it.
yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with they're just trying to protect Jay Uso because I mean he can honestly, I like Jay Uso, and I like to make fun because I know you guys like him, but his promos aren't that great. They're
He's
just
very,
not.
but at least when he fires up,
When
he's
he,
able to do what Gunther can't on the mic. He can resonate with the audience, and that's the goal.
yeah, Toxic. Let's go with you, and then yeah, let's go with you, Toxic, and then Tommy, you can finish this up. What are your thoughts on the Gunther and Otis match and Jay Uso coming out for the save?
I'm gonna start with the Gunther and Otis match. Amazing match. I loved every single second of it. Every single match was good tonight. But I like this match more because it's giving people that are at the bottom of the roster, like the Alpha Academy, a chance to fight against someone big like Gunther and giving them a potential shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. But we already know Jay's next, so they're obviously not going to win. Now I'm going to talk about the Jay stuff. Oh shit, Crash Out Jay is back. Crash Out Jay is back. And if I'm honest, Crash Out Jay is my favorite version of Jay. He's not gonna take any of your shit. If you talk shit, you're gonna get hit. And I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna say that because R-Truth said I don't even know if that's PG. So never mind. But yeah, I'm loving everything about this feud, but Blood's right. Gunther is the boring one in this feud. In this feud, not in general. In this feud, it's mainly Jay because Gunther's attacking everyone else and not saying anything about Jay. He's just shit talking Jay behind his back, not even saying it to his face. And then whenever he does, he waits for Jay to get caught off guard, like with A-Town Down Under, who attacked him after he got done with Gunther. So he's just not even making this feud interesting. It's Jay that's doing it. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Tommy.
When it comes to Jay's promo stuff, Snug, you seem to forget something. That back in the day, which one of the Usos was the talker? It
I couldn't
wasn't Jay.
even tell them apart.
It wasn't Jay. It was Jimmy. Jimmy was the one between the two that was doing the promos. It was him. It wasn't Jay. But they're right. Overall, Gunther, he's not fully boring. I will say that. He's not boring. Although his move set is, it's mainly chop, 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 kick, power bomb. That's it. Except for the headlocks that he puts them in from time to time. But between the two, Jay is the one that has more connection to the crowd. Gunther doesn't really do anything except attempt to get into his opponent's head. That's pretty much it. Without Ludwig Kaiser, who actually has connection to the crowd, Gunther almost has nothing. Without the rest of it.
All right. Moving on then. So besides that, tonight we had 3 title matches, right? Besides the main event that we already talked about, we had the tag team titles were on the line, right? The War Raiders versus the Creed brothers. And I'm sorry, but it's the tag team division. We've already established that the tag team division is not very exciting. It's not very good right now. So this to me felt like a filler match. Now the ending though, the ending was really good. The finish of this match was really good. But we had to sit through this was like it felt like a long match. We had to sit through a lot of stuff just to get to the ending. And I don't know if it was really worth it, but Tommy, let's go. Let's start with you. We haven't started with you. What's your thoughts on this tag team match really quickly? Because I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Well, you say that it's just the tag division. SmackDown's is more chaotic. Raw's has it's way more collected. But, and I said this on the kick stream as well, and I also said it in the chat. Who is behind anybody in American Made? Literally nobody since they were brought up from NXT. When they were in NXT, all 3 of them, they all were great. But since being brought up, those 3 are made to be jokes. It's like they're just comedy. That's pretty much it. The match was decent. Wasn't best of the night, but it was decent. But between the tag or Ivy Nile, I definitely preferred the tag.
All right, let's go with you, BT. Did you catch this tag team match?
No, I wasn't able to, but I did see the clip of Chad Gable hitting the I think it was a shooting star press. I think it was.
Not Chad
But what
Gable,
I want to talk about is
but one of the Creed brothers.
Right. But what I want to talk about quickly, if I could, Chad Gable as a whole, he's been fucked since his WrestleMania match was stolen by Sami Zayn last year. I mean, it was exciting at first when he first turned heel, but god damn it, they didn't capitalize off of it. And that's the problem with Triple H's booking. He has so many awesome tales to tell, but when they get capitalized with like a huge heap of momentum, he never fucking capitalizes of it. Jey Uso is one of those fucking examples, and hopefully there's a minuscule fucking doubt in me that they won't pull that trigger, but hopefully Jey Uso gets that win that he fully deserves. But Chad Gable as a whole, I have not enjoyed anything that he has been doing in American Made. Apart from them slapping the shit out of each other to pump each other up and looking like they're on fucking meds all the time, that's the only thing that I fucking enjoyed. That's the only thing that I've enjoyed. Them as a whole, just get them the fuck off my screen. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I guess it's important to mention that all members of the American Made, I think they're called now, they all lost titles matches tonight, including Ivy Nile.
Yeah, their name is American Made.
Toxic, what were your thoughts on this tag team match? And then Mr. Blood.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I only watched half of this match. It was just boring. I don't get me wrong. I love the War Raiders. Love them. Probably the best tag team on the Raw roster, in my opinion. If you don't think so, then cry about it. But yeah, when it comes to American Made, they're just not good. And I'm pretty sure it was Blood that said it, but before the Creed brothers joined American Made, they were a lot more interesting. They were, I forgot what he said, but they were a lot more interesting and a lot better in the ring. Or it was Tommy, I don't know who. But those are my thoughts. And I forgot who said it. The Raw tag team division is a lot more boring, but so is the SmackDown division. The SmackDown division's just more chaotic.
Bud.
It was me who said it in the chat, and I can go back and prove it, Tommy. But in the chat, I said that the Creed brothers, when they first got called up, they were being treated as a massive deal. They were being put over like crazy by commentary. They were getting insane reactions. I think it's Julius Creed, the skinnier, taller brother, who does the insane repeated kip ups over and over again, the no arm kip ups. That was a huge thing. And then they took him off our TV for a while. And we didn't see him for weeks and weeks and weeks. And people forgot about him. And then when Chad Gable turned on Alpha Academy, he introduces these guys as his new backup. And I thought that they were going to be this super mega heel stable. I thought, oh, they're getting a heel push with a recently, turned heel Chad Gable. This could be, a game changer on the Raw roster. Then quickly, they started letting the guys talk on the mic sometimes. Could tell they weren't really ready for it. And slowly but surely, we watched them turn into comedy fodder. And even though Chad is supposed to be this big, mega fucking mid card heel, he's still doing comedy shit. And so when I get to a tag team match like this, where I see a serious tag team like the War Raiders, who really put in the work, the effort. I mean, they have some insane matches. Ivar might be, in my opinion, the most deceptively athletic person on the entire WWE roster. I mean, I still cannot get over that match he had with Kofi Kingston last year when Eric went out with an injury. But this match, I thought, was decent. I thought it definitely picked up in the fourth. I also think the crowd sucked tonight. And when I watched this match, it was very plain to me that they were doing some really great work in this ring. Through a good portion of the match, the in-ring work was really solid. I think the reason it felt boring is because the crowd was giving them nothing from the jump. I mean, the crowd had used a lot of their energy with the Seth Rollins thing, and then we had the Otis and Gunther match where they spent a lot more of their energy getting behind Otis, and then we get to this match finally, and they're just kind of dead for it. And I don't think they were dead because of the War Raiders. I think they were more dead because of Alpha Academy. I think that would have been a way more heat for them in this match if Gable was actually there ringside to stir up the audience and piss them off. But I think the audience also, the crowd just didn't give them anything. There was no energy to feed off. The crowd kind of sucked tonight through many matches. They sucked through almost every single title match except for the main event. And a big proponent of having a great match is you do really feed off that audience. You do feed off that crowd interaction. And the Creeds were trying to get into crowd interaction tonight. Julius Creed, the taller, skinnier one, was literally like, mouthing to the crowd, like making cry faces, boo hoo hoo. Like he was trying to get heat, interact. And even Eric and Ivar, when they were trying to pump up the audience, Eric went for the war. It took like 4 seconds for the first person to go, oh, yeah, war. And they finally start chanting. I'm like, dude, these are your tag team champions. Okay. This is a title match. You're getting to what you paid your money to come to a live televised event, and you're getting to see 3 championship matches tonight. Where is your energy? Because you could have paid way more to go to a PLE and be quiet.
Mr.
But you
Blood,
paid $300 to $400 a ticket and a seat to come here
Mr.
and
Blood,
not cheer.
Mr. Blood. A title match, a championship title is not going to make a match more interesting. The crowd wasn't feeling it because the WWE hasn't given us a reason to give a crap about either of these teams. Like, I don't care if they're
No, yes
champions or
and
not.
no. Yes and no. Because when the War Raiders came back, they were treated like a big deal because they both came back from career-threatening injuries. They were treated like a big deal. And
No,
not to mention,
yeah.
and not to mention a title match does make a match more interesting because it gives it the one thing that a regular one-on-one might not: stakes.
I mean, me and Toxic can
So,
sit here and tell you that we were not interested at all whatsoever. Like even at the end, I'll admit it, they got me at the end of the match, but at first, this was just like, ugh.
well, I mean, it's a title match. I mean, it's gonna have a slow burn if it's gonna be a good one. All these guys are you know very talented individuals, but at the end of the day, a crowd really does make or break a match because the crowd is a part of the show. The crowd could have given them fake energy, false energy if they wanted to. They could have come alive, cheered them on more, made them feel like more. Until then, I'm just listening to a lot of bumps happening on a mat and crickets. And especially when it came to the next title match we'll talk about, really kind of kills the mood for the viewer at home if the audience can't be bothered to muster up the energy to so much as clap their hands.
I don't know, man. I feel like they owe us a lot when it comes to the tag team division,
No,
but
I will agree with Blood that their energy did go really big for Punk, dead, massive for Rhea. That's pretty much how it went.
that's not the crowd's fault.
I mean, if I pay $500 or $900 for front row, I'm screaming till I'm hoarse.
If I
Yeah.
pay
So,
$500, I hope that I get my money's worth, but that's not that I'm not paying money to go watch the crowd chant or cheer. I'm paying money to go watch a good
no,
show.
but you are paying your money to come as alive as you possibly can because that's why you went.
Yeah, but what's gonna keep me alive is a show.
I mean, I'm getting good in ring action. Those guys worked an
Oh
incredible
yeah,
match.
no, yeah, for sure. But I mean,
Whether or not the tag division is booked better or not doesn't really matter once the bell rings. When the bell rings, I'm watching these guys work their asses off for my entertainment.
you are,
I should cheer for
you are,
them.
but not every fan in that arena looks at wrestling like you do.
No, because the 90% of WWE fans are casual fans and they don't even understand what a bump is
Well,
until I
then there
explain
you
it to them.
go. Well, that's
But but that's the thing. If you're a casual fan, you're not going to pick it apart as much, are you? And if you don't pick it apart as much, but you pay a shit ton of money to go see it live, a casual fan you'd think would cheer more than a crit.
so you're satisfied with the tag team division right now, Mr. Blood, how it is.
I don't think it's perfect, no, but it is leagues and bounds above what it was 3 years ago.
Well, all right. Speaking of, matches that were very, very quiet, Ivy Nile versus Lyra Valkyrie for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I gotta say, when I found out this match was happening, I was talking a lot of shit. These girls shut me up. They proved me wrong. They had a great match. They got me. I take all the mean shit I said about how no one cared about this match, and to an extent they didn't, but they made me care a little bit. I really enjoyed this match, but let's go with you first, Mr. Blood, and then we'll go on
Okay.
to everyone else.
All right. I'll make it quick because I also said this in our chat during the match. I have been watching Ivy since NXT. The moment I saw the first clip of her, like 3.5, 4 years ago, I thought, who is this? This jacked little girl. She has this great look. She's got this presence to her. When she used to do dips on the ropes when she'd come into her entrance, I thought, hell yeah, that girl's going to be a star when she hits the main roster. They fought her. I have literally been saying for weeks and weeks now to anybody who listens, Lyra Valkyria, incredible wrestler, zero character. They literally brought this girl up so that she could be Becky Lynch 2.0, and they have done fuck all to give her anything, let alone promos. I mean, honestly, let's be real. Lyra Valkyria has not actually had a full fleshed out feud the entire time she's been on the main roster. Not one. When she got called up and Becky left, she was shoved straight into a tournament. That's not a feud. She was shoved straight into a tournament where she had a little mini feud involving people in the tournament. That ultimately she wins the tournament. Then she defends the title 2 weeks, 3 weeks after she wins it. Then she's been dealing with Ivy Nile on and off, on and off, on and off. Like, dude, you're a champion with no story. You're a champion with no direction. And I swear to God, I am sick and tired of watching Lyra Valkyria hold that title just so they can wait for Becky Lynch to come back and take it from her. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like they're just holding their breath for Becky to go, hey guys, I found a babysitter. I'm ready to come back. And they're literally just like, until then, we're just going to have her tread water and do mini feuds where she's not doing any promo work. She's never on the mic. She does a backstage interview for 2 seconds and gets attacked. But we have no character, no story, no direction. I don't even know what her character is, other than I'm Irish and I like to scream woo, and I'm the Raven, I'm the Black Cat, and I've got a cool finisher. Like, literally, other than that, who is Lyra Valkyria? Yeah, she's the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Big fucking deal. You haven't made me care. Dakota should have won it because at least Dakota would have been paired up with Io, whom together the crowd goes crazy for because they love Damage Control. They have a fan connection because they've been around longer and they built stories with the audience to be involved with. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, Dakota should have won it because at least they're actually giving Dakota TV time. They're giving Dakota promo work. They're giving Dakota some story to work with. What have they given Lyra? Waste of a title run so far. And it's not her fault.
All right. Tommy.
So, Blood, I'm going to correct you on something. The Intercontinental title was not her first tournament. You are right that they immediately pushed her into one.
Yes, the Queen of the Ring. I know.
It was Queen of the Ring that she went
2 back-to-back tournaments.
Finals for. That she went all the way to the finals for, only to be squashed by Nia. Like, squashed by Nia. Completely wrecked. But I love Lyra. It's the entire reason why immediately when this tournament was announced, my response was, it's either Lyra or it's Dakota. And more, I'm like, it's going to be Lyra. Lyra is going to end up winning this tournament. And she did. Called it from the beginning. But Blood is right. Overall, she's defended it like, what, twice? That's it?
No, feels like she's defended it at least 3 times, I want to say.
But from her first defense to now, she has defended it more in the last month than she has when she first fucking got it. 2 defenses back to back. Dakota last week. And Ivy this week. Back to back.
Yeah.
But Ivy, like as I said with the tag match, nobody cares about American Made at this point. It's like the only one that they really care about, and that's still minuscule, is the Kurt Angle wannabe that is Chad Gable. He's literally taken everything from Chad Gable, including the submission. Nobody cares about American Made whatsoever. Do they care about Lyra? Yes, but still only a little bit more than Ivy. That's it. They haven't really given us anything for either. And this is, again, one of the big things where I'm just like, Triple H, come on. You've got this girl that's a high flyer, that's a fighter, one hell of a fighter, may I add. But you do nothing with her. She can absolutely put on a show, and you're doing nothing with her.
They're just waiting for Raquel Rodriguez to finally step up and take it from her. Anyway, BT Knight, what did you think of
But
BT Knight? Thoughts on the women's intercontinental title match?
Well, I did see the clip where Lyra Valkyria did retain, so congratulations to her for that. Didn't watch the full match, but honestly, I couldn't agree more. Lyra Valkyria feels like one of those Irish gimmicks that is like, hey, here comes Becky Lynch, and she's fully going to live up to the Becky Hogan name that everybody calls her on Twitter. Like, that's basically the vibe that we're getting from her. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. There is no fucking direction, no fucking story, apart from being Becky Lynch's little fucking puppet, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And Ivy Nile, as much potential she has, she's boring to watch as well. I do not like her. That's just my opinion on it. But honestly, from the clips that I saw, it looks like a really good match to watch. So congrats to both women for putting on a good match tonight.
It was a lot better than Lyra Valkyrie versus Bayley, that's for damn sure. But Toxic,
yeah, hell of a lot better.
Thoughts on this Intercontinental Championship match, if any?
The problem with this match for me wasn't Lyra, it was Ivy. I just don't like how she works in the ring. Yes, she's a good performer in the ring, but I don't know, just something about it doesn't. Something about her moveset and how she moves in the ring is just screaming female Kurt Angle.
She wrestles like the Divas division back in the day.
Exactly. So I just don't like. I just want Triple H to put Lyra against someone other than Dakota and Ivy. But thank God we had this backstage segment with the Judgment Day, because Raquel Rodriguez said she was going to keep an eye on Ivy and Lyra. So we could be seeing that soon.
The next women's intercontinental champion, Raquel Rodriguez.
Snug, shut up.
All right, you guys, look.
No, Snug, shut up.
Other than that, I think we pretty much hit like all the high points of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Besides that, we had some segments here and there backstage in the arena. We saw the Judgment Day had a backstage segment. AJ Styles and Karrion Kross had one, which I thought was weird, where AJ Styles said that he was going to call out Logan Paul probably next week. We also saw Ludwig Kaiser and Penta in an in-ring segment where Penta ended up taking Ludwig Kaiser out. They had a little brawl, a little piece of business there in the ring. Then we had a video package where Chad Gable is supposedly in Mexico, where he met some old guy that kind of looked a little bit Asian, but maybe that's just me being racist, because he had like the long beard and kind of had like a weird accent, but that's not really what old people look like in Mexico, so I think I'm allowed to say that.
You don't recognize your own people?
I do, and that guy did not sound or look Mexican at all whatsoever. But
I've never seen a Mexican with a Chinese monastery beard.
No. Especially not in Lucha Libre. Especially not in Mexican wrestling. We also had the LWO. They had a video package. Very cinematic video packages, these things with Chad Gable and the LWO. And that was the extra segments that we didn't really touch on, unless there's anything about any of these segments you guys want to point out really quickly before we get out of here.
I'm ready for
Couldn't care about any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for the tornado tag. It's been a while since the last time we've seen that type of match.
Okay.
I'm also surprised that Ray is back so soon.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, the only exciting thing about the tornado tag match is that it's no DQ. But historically, I don't like that Ray sold like it's a tornado tag match. You know what that means? It means but all four of us in the ring together, no disqualification. There have always been DQs in tornado tag matches. This is just going to be a no disqualification tornado tag match. But again, I don't care because they, as far as I'm concerned, so far they have been fumbling the New Day's heel turn. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, the LWO is one of the most repetitive and most repetitively boring acts on Raw because it's the same thing. Someone gets into an argument with Ray, so everybody with Ray has to get their ass beat while Ray eats a couple losses until he ekes out a victory for the feud. And it's wash, rinse, fucking repeat ever since they formed on SmackDown, and that's what it's been for 2 years. So I don't care anymore at this point.
I've got 3 words that forms into one question. Where is Zelina?
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
They moved her to SmackDown without actually like giving a good angle for her.
And yet SmackDown has done nothing with her.
They had a video package for her last week. They're gonna slowly build her up to something. Yeah, they were reminding everyone that she was the first ever queen of the ring, and she did this, she did that, and the this, that, and the other. But anyways, you
They
guys
need to give her more.
No,
They need to give her more.
No, I think she's fine, just like that. Let's keep it that way. All right, y'all. That was Monday Night Raw from March 3rd, Buffalo, New York, and that was a review. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. It was fun like always. And
props for going out in Buffalo winter, fucking shirtless.
Good night.